Hello, hello again. I'm really sorry, but it seems that I did something wrong and we weren't live, although I thought we were. So hello again, everyone. And still it says offline, so not live.
Oh no, not
Oh,
yet. We're gonna go again.
oh no, there we go. There we go. No, 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 it's working now. It's working now. Sorry again. Hello, everyone. This is Isaiah. Yes, we are live now on the Hey Summit page. So sorry about this mix up. Sorry to the speakers who were nice enough to bear with me. I literally had them talking for 5 minutes straight without pushing the go live button. So apologies. This is the OTALOCO live panel, the third and last one. If you want to catch us live, that's right now. If you want to catch any other of the talks, you will have to register. This panel is actually being streamed quite widely. If any of the speakers want to share their channels as well, they can do so. And the idea is that if people have, not seen OTALOCO at all, there is your chance to catch up. So this live panel, we have quite a few of our speakers today. We have, and I'm going to do the tour again, although, you think you've done it, but no, let's go again. So we have the amazing Jackie Kemp from the UK. We have Laura Muirhead from Michigan today, but I know that Laura is the balancing queen, going from Michigan to New Jersey and back. Then we have Lois Warnock from Alberta, Canada. We have the amazing Pia Becker from Germany. We have Victoria Chisholm from the UK as well. We have Nick, who is a digital nomad, but actually in Germany right now. No, in Turkey. Sorry, I was looking up here in Turkey. And I myself, I'm in Greece. Yeah, you see the tiredness that builds up with OTALOCO. So I'm in Greece, and today we have no Australians because I think it must be rude o'clock in Australia. But usually in our panel we have 2 or 3 Australian ladies, and I'm really excited that this OTALOCO Summit was encompassing the world because, well, first of all, the world is an amazing tarot card, but also because I think, this is something that needs and that touches everyone, or that can touch everyone. So my invitation is for everyone in the world to play with cards morning, noon, and night. So glad that we found the speakers to encourage them.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into straight conversation, I would like to do some housekeeping here. So for the people who are already registered in OTALOCO and who might maybe not be receiving emails, I have been getting a lot of bouncing emails. So there's at least 50 people whose email is either wrong, so they made a mistake while giving it to us, or they on purpose didn't want to get the emails, which might be a little annoying because actually you're not getting the reminders to come and listen to your talks. But so if you're not getting any emails, although you think you're registered, that might be why. So go and check that. Also, you will not get the freebies and everything that has been promised to you if we don't have a correct email address for you. I also wanted to go for a little rant because I'm this person. There are at least 3 people who registered to OTALOCO, and then when they got their first email to say this is a confirmation of your registration, reported this as a spam. I just want to let you guys know that when you do that, what that means is that OTALOCO cannot, if there's too many people that report us as spammer, we cannot send any emails to anyone ever again, unless I change everything. And so I just want to say, if you don't want our emails, every email has an unsubscribe button at the bottom. It's huge, it's colored. So, go for that one. But please do not declare that we are spammers when you have just been asked us to send you emails. So that was my little ranty housekeeping. And the other thing I wanted to say, because we are towards the end of OTALOCO, so that means that the live calls will end tonight. So we still have, after this panel, we have 3 talks. We have the amazing Claire Cantop coming to talk about the essence and the energy of her artwork and how she specifically creates artwork for decks. Then we have the less than extraordinary Tonya Melendez coming live with her predictions and prophecies for 2024. So, yay! And then we have my bestie Chris Wallace and myself. We're going to be closing the Congress with a live talk that we don't really know what we'll be talking about. The title is "When Do I Need a Card?"
Yeah.
So, and from there, the both of us, we can talk for a couple of hours without any topics. So you don't know how much we're going to last. There's nothing after us. So, we might go for a while. We have some plans, but they're very, very vague. But we decided to go for the fun. So after this is over, all the attendees have 7 days worth of free replays, which we hope you will enjoy, to catch up or to watch some talks again, or maybe to watch some talks that you've missed, maybe because we didn't mention them as much. And let me please be very, very clear. There is no one in this Congress that I'm not so happy that we can hear their voice. We did mention a lot our amazing guest speaker, Tonya Melendez, but doesn't mean that the others are less amazing. So if you've missed a few, you've got 7 days now to go and catch up. Now, if you think 7 days is, oh my God, not long enough, and if you want some out of this world bonuses, you can upgrade your ticket. You can upgrade your ticket up to the end of December, actually, but mostly for the next week. And you can get a year worth of replay. So you can chill in that. And for tier 2, you get an amazing keepsake booklet that has been created by our speakers specifically for the tier 2 people. And for tier 3, you get 17 bonuses by our amazing speakers. And I just wanted to kind of take a minute there. The value, the financial value of this bundle of bonuses is in the thousands, and I'm going to add an S to that. But the value of, how do you say that when it's not financial value? The
Sentimental?
The real value is in the billions. There's so many incredible things. I cannot quote them all, although maybe I can. So I'm offering a 3-part challenge called Ground with Gaia. And I'm not going to say the prices. You can see all those in the tier 3 little tab on the website. Jean Berry from Jean Berry Presents is offering a creation quest, how you can create your personal Oracle card deck online. And that's a course, right? 5-part course. Laura Muirhead is offering her amazing Tarot Queen cheat sheet. If I say so myself, this has saved my life so many times. It's like in one page, the nitty-gritty of every tarot card. It's so helpful. Thank you for that. Then, sorry, I've lost my notes. We have Mission Intuition, Rediscovering Your Inner GPS by Callie Ginello. 6-step approach, unbelievable, creative, eye-opening course. Cindy is, I love the title of her course. It's a 3-part mini course and it's called Not Your Mother's Menopause. So that's Cindy Brensley Gertz. Then we have the Dragon Wealth Healing Bundle by Victoria. I can't wait to dig into that one, to be honest. Then we have Katie K's top 3 card reading spreads, a mini course. We have a shadow work tarot journal by the amazing Fiona Morris, which, by the way, you might not have seen a lot around this Congress because she was trapped into India with no bandwidth, but she has created this amazing tarot shadow work journal, which I think is really interesting that we go and really dare to go into the shadow side of ourselves and of the tarot decks. Then what else is there? Sorry, I lost my notes again. Everything's moving here. Karen Kosha is offering a group clearing and healing circle, and you can book. There are 3 sessions all through December, and you can book the one that you want or prefer. Chris Wallace is offering a free spot in her Ready to Win live 6-week course, which is all about winning the lottery. Pia Becker has got this amazing little booklet, or not little, actually, Dream and Wonder workbook. So you can go through all 4 pillars to turn your dreams into a reality. Andrea Detchen is offering the Joy Journey, an email automated video journey, 4 weeks. Then Jill Chesrow is offering, are you sitting? Sacred Foundations digital frequency card set and the Legacy Weaver digital frequency card set. And these are artworks that connect with energy. And they are amazing. They're just beautiful. Jackie Kemp is offering What Blocks Are Holding You Back from Abundance, a masterclass. I love that. And the value of that, I have to say that, Jackie, is 4444. Of course, because we like magic numbers, don't we? Then Simone Alves is offering her video attunement, Growing from the Dark, Going Beyond Your Fears. And that's a magical portal opening to faith and confidence. Isn't that great? I love Simone. Lois Warnock is offering a digital image of Kuan Yin, yes, of her own freaking painting of Kuan Yin, and you can use it on your desktop or phone, or even print it and have it at home, and have the beautiful energy of Kuan Yin in your house at all times. Then we have Laura Stesiunas is sharing her, or gifting her, Envisioning My Future Self workbook. And voila, if you need more, we don't have it, but there's enough, I'm sure. And all of this can be yours, plus 1 year of OTALOCO, plus a free deck on Deckible, plus the All Attendees Bookshop workbook, plus the keepsake booklet, plus the speaker's deck on Deckible for 97 euros. So I'm going to be blunt. What the are you waiting for? Come and join us. Come and play. Thank you very much for bearing with me while I went through this long, enumeration, and bearing with me the speakers, because I've been talking for 15 minutes straight. And thank you for now helping me make this panel more interesting than just me talking. So for question number 1, for those who've never been in the panel, what's your favorite deck?
Oh.
And you're only allowed one. And even the people who have been on the panels before, this is my question for today. You're only allowed one. And I'm going to be easy for you. What's your favorite deck today? So tomorrow you can change your mind.
I got this deck recently and absolutely love the artwork. I am a pranic healer, so I work with chakras. So this just really resonated really nicely with me.
I love it. It feels beautiful. I'm going to take our names out of the way, the thing out of the way, because our faces are going to get bigger. So the decks are going to show more.
I have this fairy one. There's the Fairy Temple Oracle card deck, and I'm completely in love with this imagery and the vibration of this deck. So that would be my favorite one today.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you're allowed to showcase your own deck, by the way. I'll be all right. If your favorite deck is your deck, that's fine too.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go there,
Of course.
I
I was kind of pushing you there because I've not seen the real thing because I didn't watch your live earlier on. So I want to see the deck.
I just on Friday received my Queen Code sample deck. So
Lovely.
we are, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, but it's not quite available in the physical form. It is available in the digital form, thanks to our sponsor, Deckible. So, the deck. Yeah, right now, I would have to say that's my top deck.
Okay.
I got it.
Very good. Nick?
Yeah, one of my favorites is this supposing deck,
Okay.
which is a deck of emoticons. You know those wooden mannequins you arrange for like drawing practice, and so this deck is basically a series of photos of different mannequins dressed up in different poses to create different emotions. So it's an emotions deck. And ever since I saw the artwork, I was like, this is so cute. It's so connecting.
It's so original.
Yeah, so original. And then the weird thing is, because I've been made aware of all this, like people of color, the lack of color throughout tarot kind of whole issue, and we've been gathering those decks on Deckible anyway. So when Tonya claimed, I was like, yeah, great. But the weird thing is, you try finding a colored emoticon, you can't. They don't exist.
No.
It's just shocked me. I'm even in here in Turkey where people are, not white, but the mannequins are all white. Like, it's just crazy. It's funny. It's amazing that you don't notice these things until you notice. And then once you've noticed, you walk around. And,
you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Then you kind of absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the deck again?
It's called Supposing.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Anyone else wants to share a deck?
Yeah, mine. It's the Divine Intuition Oracle that I mentioned on the first day, I think. The one that I found in Albuquerque, and it's still my favorite. I love the colors and the pictures on the front. It's just abstract that it's beautiful, but it's still speaking enough to get a message or something like that, to connect with it. So it's I love the colors. It's beautiful, and it has kind of sentimental value for me as well. So
I hear you. But I think it's beautiful. I'm so happy you brought it because you mentioned it the first day, and I was like, oh, I like the title. And I would love to see it.
Belinda Grace, the name of the deck creator. I forgot the last name the last time, but it's Belinda Grace, if anyone is interested.
Thank you. Lois?
Well, I love Alana Fairchild.
Can you move it a little bit this way because it's shining very much and we can't see it? Yeah.
So this one is the white light frequencies, and I work a lot with her decks in the coaching, but she has on YouTube all the music that goes with this, and it's incredible to listen to. So so today I think that's my favorite.
Awesome.
Love it.
Well, my favorite for today is the speakers deck from OTALOCO. I'm really excited because I wanted to mention it because, I've been compiling this deck for over 2 months now, with each of you sending me a quote, either by you or by someone you love, and an image of what I call an image of beauty, so an image that would be inspiring. And we finalized the deck today with Nick. Thank you, by the way, for doing that, because it was like, I was very overwhelmed today. And so there is now a card by Nick himself and a card by Tonya. And I'm really excited that all the speakers are in there. And it's such, the word that comes is a rainbow of wisdom, of peace, and beauty. And as you might know, because I keep repeating that, I believe that beauty will save the world. That if we refuse to live in ugliness, a lot of things will get better. Even, we we'll connect better to nature, because nature is never ugly. So, I think most of the ugliness humans create. So I'm so happy and proud that this all attendees speakers inspiration deck, that's the name of it. And I'm really excited that it is now available for free to all the attendees just on Deckible.com. And you will get an email, by the way, attendees, with all the information that I'm mentioning right now, and you can access your decks tomorrow morning. Well, my morning, not the Australians. Australians afternoon. There is a question on the on the forum for you. Oh gosh, I'm tired really. For you, Laura, and they're asking. I think it's Cindy who's over there, and she's asking if there is going to be a physical form to the Queen Code deck. So please.
There's going to be a digital form.
No, a physical.
Oh, physical.
Form.
Yes. We've got the physical. I've just got samples right now, so I have to just spend some time going through everything, making it sure it's just right. I know there's just a couple edits right now that I need to do, and I'm hoping, depending on the printer, maybe by the end of the month or the beginning of the year. And I do have a wait list that you can get on. If you want to get on the wait list, we could put a link somewhere for that. And then
I think the wait list is on your page, actually.
Great. Yeah. So absolutely, there is a physical form.
I'm excited. I think they look gorgeous. They feel, I'm going to say it, they feel rich. Which is becoming.
I totally loved your deck. I love the structure of it. Though it's like so well thought out in a way that I've seen a lot of decks, but I don't see many decks that well thought out. So I was really impressed.
Seriously, you have seen a lot of decks?
I have.
I don't believe it.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. And it is based. I mean, it's based on my Queen Code online program, which is a 6-week program. But it can be a companion to that, or it absolutely is a standalone deck, as you can tell.
Yeah, the way the cards are split into suits, and then you follow a theme even through each of the suits has got a certain structure to it. It's really nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nick, you've got a comment by Shelley, who I think is the creator of the Supposing deck.
Oh.
And she says the wooden art mannequins can be oiled or painted to get darker.
I know.
And she is talking with suppliers to see if they would offer darker ones so that all artists can see themselves in the mannequins.
I know. No, I knew she was on with that. It's so exciting to be able to know that that's coming to fruition, right?
It's really exciting. Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Bye, Shelley.
So okay, we've done the favorite deck thing. Now, what shall I ask you? I've asked previously what is your first memorable card. So if some of you did not answer that question previously and want to answer it now, you're welcome. The first card that you ever pulled that was kind of memorable, that you remember for some reason.
I think it was an Archangel Michael card for myself, out of an old Doreen Virtue deck. I'm sure it was like Angel's Answers or something along those lines. And it was relating to a time in my life that I was going through a few different emotional struggles. And it was just like a protection card. And it just really spoke out to me about the strength of that particular angel, because it is known as a warrior angel, Archangel Michael. So that was a particular one that stuck in my mind for whatever reason, although I don't work with many angel decks these days.
That's interesting. Anyone else has got a card that kind of pops into their memories? No? Okay. More questions? Let me find more questions. So do all of you work with tarot or have worked with tarot at one point or another? Yeah, see the bobbing heads? No. Lois, no, you haven't. So you can't play this game. So never mind. You're allowed to play anyway. The question would be, let's pick a couple of the major arcanas and find them day jobs. So what would let's say the Empress, what would her day job be?
A CEO of her own company, I would imagine.
The Empress?
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
Interesting.
In her power, just ruling the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Interesting. No, I went for nanny.
Nanny, okay.
She's mothering everyone. So.
No, and I think I also went the other day with mothering energy as well. Kindness, compassion, big heart, helping out. So possibly it could be a social worker or just a care helper, healer, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone has any other kind of ideas? Okay, let's go for the Hanged Man. A woman in that situation.
Cirque du Soleil.
Day job?
Yes.
Cirque du Soleil. Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah, HR.
HR. Oh my God. Interesting. Okay. We're going to let you own that one.
Yeah.
I'm picking up a few cards here. If you have any other ideas, please ask away. Oh. Sorry, I've got a message here. Somebody. Okay. So, who else do we have here that could have a day job? In the similar fashion, if you have any cards that at this moment in the tarot or elsewhere, that because you mentioned that, Lois, about the music. So do you have cards that for you bring on a soundtrack? Kind of, they're linked with a soundtrack.
Actually, that's an interesting question because Master Saint Germain, who I've done a painting of for a client, and also is in my spirit guide deck. When I was researching him years ago in the spiritualist teachings, he actually has some waltzes that are a certain 3/4 time that actually pull in his energy, and it's in some old spiritualist books that I had studied with years ago.
Interesting.
And so I went, oh my gosh, really? Seriously? Like, that's pretty fascinating, that it's it actually was created for his energy. So yeah, you never know. Right?
I love that.
So I put that music on when I'm, asking him or calling him in, just to see if there's a difference in the energy that he with messages coming through. So it's fascinating.
Thank you, Lois. That's amazing. Hey, Tonya. So we have Tonya Melendez joining us. And by the way, I just wanted to mention also that Cindy is with us, although she is staying in the back room, and she is commenting. I think Jill is over there as well. And she mentioned for the Empress, maybe we should, because we were trying, Tonya, I'm just explaining, we were trying to find day jobs for some of the tarot cards. So the Empress, Jill decided that she could be a Mummy and Me circle leader. So about day jobs, do you want to try the Hierophant?
A teacher, maybe.
All right. Okay. So
Teacher?
the Hierophant, that works well. Are you speaking with me, Isa?
I'm speaking with anyone. The thing is, it's a very disorganized panel. Welcome. You want to talk? Just talk.
Oh yeah, no, I love hearing this, and just hi everyone, happy OTALOCO. What an amazing this has really been. And so the Hierophant, I could definitely see, like, as a day job, isn't this what we do as readers? Like, we are the Hierophant. All of us are the Hierophant. And when we're connecting with cards, we are accessing upper realms. Again, this is not work for everyone, just like I couldn't work in a corporate office, right? I couldn't do it. And so this Hierophant card reminds us that this work that we're doing is soul spirit guided. And it doesn't make sense to those who are in corporate, who think we're you know, crazy. But, you know, this Hierophant really anchors us in that we are in this to win this. And I love that the Hierophant also is that number 5. In numerology, it reminds us that it's a choice. Again, it's a choice. And so, unlike the Hermit who wants to be far away, the Hierophant shows up to serve. And that's what each of us are doing. We're using our work, our knowledge, our gifts, our past lives to bring this work back, because this is a courageous act. And I love, again, that image of the Hierophant, because we also have to remember that there is joy in this. And I think for so many of us, we carry this wounded healer energy, you know, the witch wounds. And so we want to allow ourselves to be happy and joyous and prosperous in this experience as spiritual entrepreneurs. But it's our time, beloveds. That's why I can't wait to share the 2024 predictions and prophecies, because it's our time. So how many of us are ready to bring in that Hierophant that is prosperous in this year of abundance? We're coming in.
Let's go and do that.
It's time. It's time. So thank you for that card. I appreciate that card. Thank you so much.
Yeah, me too. And you know, just for anyone who did not watch any of the previous lives, this is the cards that I'm showing are from the Light Seers Tarot by the amazing Chris Ann, and I really love this deck. So, oops, there is a double microphone here going on. What happened? No, there was a sudden echo in my ears. Sorry, but it seems to have gone away. Good. So, do you want to play this game more with finding day jobs for the cards? We can go for the Sun day job. And don't tell me electrician.
Singer, maybe.
Well, I would say light worker. Light worker.
Well, that's an easy one.
PR company.
But yeah.
A PR company, building everyone up and putting them in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, one. That's beautiful.
I think there's a deck in this to be made. Like
yeah,
the roles, the day jobs of the major arcana.
But please remember, Nick, there is a deck to be made in everything. I mean, I wrote to Nick a couple of words and he said, oh, I could see a deck there. And I was like, where?
I think Nick thinks in decks. He thinks in decks. So
I do.
You know,
from now on,
everything is a deck.
But that's cool because, you know, there's so many. And again, you know, for those who have not caught Nick's Shuffling Your Life presentation on December 1st, go and watch that. It's amazing what he thinks is a deck compared to my little, very tiny imagery of what a deck was 3 months ago. You know, you've really blown my mind on what can we do with decks, provided they're Deckible decks. It's like, oh, I'm inspired to indeed create everything as a deck from now on. You know?
Yeah, what's your tagline, Nick? There's a deck for that?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be.
But yeah, Steve Jobs did my job for me. I just have to go and pinch his taglines and tweak a word. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
also,
there's a man that's the sun, if ever there was one.
Yeah.
And back to the card.
Yeah. There is sorry, there's also the everyone has a book to write.
Yeah.
And so we believe right now that everyone has a deck to create.
And a game. And a game.
Not only one, and a game, and you know, and another book, and then another deck.
We've all had our creativity crushed out of us by an education system, I think. And
yeah.
We need to just nurture it, tease it out, and get it to come and play. Right.
And that's going back to that Hermit card, even, Nick, about us having to be our true self. And that's what the sun is. You know, I'm putting on my librarian nerd, psychic librarian hat, but the Webster's Dictionary, the word of the year is authentic. And so when I see that sun card, that's us being our authentic selves. Because again, I'm going to go back to our past lives. Many of us have these witch wounds, man or female, and we were healers, and that was taken, our lives was taken from us because of this work. And so many of us are afraid to step into this, and like I said, be in joy, be in light, be in prosperity. But it's changing for us this year, beloveds. It is coming through for us. This is our time. So the sun card for me is that, like that Hierophant just saying, here I am, authentically me. I'm ready to be, you know, I tell myself I'm ready to be a 7-figure psychic, you know, we have to give ourselves these true affirmations for our work. So again, I love that.
I have a friend of mine.
And I love the image of the, sorry, I love the journey from, you know, the dark hermit to the enlightened sun card. And I wanted to, because, you know, what you were saying is literally demonstrated there. Also, I'm sorry, but authentic is the word of the year.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
I've been
Look it up in
like
Webster's.
a parrot all
It's
year.
authentic.
You know,
So
authenticity is my main value, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize I was so fashionable.
Well, it's the year for 2024. So we're going to call it in. Yeah, so it's going to be authentically abundant for 2024 because it's the year of abundance. So,
and it's funny, I feel next year is going to be fabulous, and for love as well. I feel when I do readings, there's lots of love coming in. And I did a reading for like a 78-year-old woman, and there was love on the horizon. She was like, oh, I absolutely loved it.
I have a friend.
I love that.
Friend of mine who's an artist, and she painted this chicken, and she said it was a $20,000 chicken. Because, like, if you're an artist, she had the courage to set a price. She may never sell it, but I just thought it was like an abundant mindset. As here's my $20,000 chicken, come buy it.
I love that. Oh, there's somebody who's very noisy keyboard. Sorry.
Hands up. Is that?
Okay. It's not me. It's not me. I can't talk and type at the same time. There's no way. Let me go and see if we have any comments or questions. Oh, that's a good question. Jill is asking why so many people talk about Chris Ann's deck, and why do we love it so much? Maybe you want to go at it, Tonya, because I know that you have some
for
particular reason to like it.
You know, I've got to say, one of the first, I had been using the.
I'm going to put you on in big size.
Okay,
right?
thank you. I had been using the Hanson Roberts deck for a decade, and I could not. Eventually, I was just like, I can't keep reading this deck, and I was looking for a deck that was diverse. And this was the first deck that I found that, you know, was diverse, was inclusive. And so I really love how she portrays just everything in here. So I really give kudos to Chris Ann for creating this. And I'm so grateful that she did, because, you know, when you see yourself represented in the cards, regardless if it's a cartoon or what have you, a graphic or an actual photo, it still makes you feel included. And as a, you know, Black woman, to see myself in these images, something that I have loved and supported and used to support so many, it felt it changed something. And that's actually, it was after this, then there's just been this explosion of decks by Black creators, because a lot of people don't know, but a lot of the African or ethnic decks that are out there right now, and I know this because I was just at the Tarot's del Mundo, and they had decks of every kind. Those decks are actually made by white people. Like one of my spirit guides, Miss Cleo, I'm going to wrap this up in just a minute. Miss Cleo, she has a tarot deck, but it was created by two white men who eventually, you know, anyway, but that deck was created by two white men, and they're still making the profits off of that. And she died penniless. And so that doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So we do need more decks by diverse authors, but Christiane did a fantastic job of representing everyone, young, old, you know, there's Black, white, women, you know what I'm saying? There's just, it's a beautiful rendition. So thank you for allowing me to, you know, share that with everyone today.
Thank
So
you. No, I
appreciate it.
think it's really important, because I personally, from my white limited point of view, the first thing that I fell in love with this deck is actually not the multi-representation. It then occurred to me that, oh, this feels more normal. Like it feels like when I'm looking in the street. But the first thing for me was the clarity. Because there are a lot of tarot decks which are playing the obscure and complicated act. You know, it's like, oh, only for specialists. If you don't, you know, if you've not studied for 20 years and you've not been through hell and back, there's no way you can understand what's on this. Or it's got 3 sticks and that, oh, that's the 3 of wands, right? And what am I supposed to make of it? You know, unless I have the training or the DNA, which I don't. So that was the first thing to me, that it was clear images. The second thing was that it's not old-fashioned. So the people are there, on the people on this deck look like us, and look like us today, not in the Middle Ages, not in the Celtic forest of Avalon. And I also like that. And then I realized, only then, you know, that they look like us, all of us. And that's something that was really important for me. So that's why this deck has taken so much space in my life. But also because I learned some of my tarot knowledge with TONYA Melendez, actually, and the amazing Joanna Hunter on a course where they use this deck to teach us. So that's also why. So Jill, I hope we've answered your questions, or at least some of our questions. And oh, Cindy, somebody says that doesn't make sense. Sorry, Cindy is talking to Tonya and saying, that doesn't make sense to me either. It's heartbreaking. I'm so glad you're sharing this message.
But that's something that's, I don't know when this was, but now cultural misappropriation is a big thing. It wasn't before, right? It was that didn't even, I mean, it's just interesting. You never even think of that. I didn't even know that term until relatively recently.
Yeah. Well, time it is we start to learn and educate ourselves.
Right.
Awesome. There is another message sharing from Cindy, who is again one of our speakers, and she's saying her favorite deck today is the Divine Feminine Oracle, because it portrays women and goddesses from all around the world, from different cultures and different colors again also. So it's not a tarot deck, and I think it's a women created deck. Which
It is. Cindy, thank you for bringing that deck up too, because that's one of my favorites. And I do choose from there every single day. I pick a card from there for that very reason, connecting to the divine feminine. So Nick, there's a deck in there. I know there's this real calling for us as well to create decks that are very feminine and women focused, because again, same energy. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Cindy. That is one of my also favorite decks as well.
Yeah.
I like.
Does anyone have this deck to be able to show it?
Which one was it?
I have it. It's called the Divine Feminine Oracle.
I have it.
It's a red
upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is in France. I'm in Greece, so you'll have to make do, ladies and gentlemen watching us.
The author
really
is Megan. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Waterspawn.
Yeah. Megan. Waterstone. Something like that. I do believe.
I'm going to check that and be back to you. Google knows everything.
I got super curious about just loving the whole idea of archetype decks, which is really interesting.
Don't get me started on archetypes.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
This is the depth of my work, so I can go on for archetypes about archetypes for a long time.
Archetypes are like just this way of understanding anything.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a model for anything, you'll just blunder through not knowing. But if you have an archetype, you walk through life and you go, oh, they're one of these. Oh, they're one of those. Oh, the situation that's, oh, there it is. You found it.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Megan Waterson. I just checked. Thank you, Lois. Amazing. But yeah, archetypes are for me, it's a fascinating concept. It's basically symbols that we all recognize, even if we don't know them.
Right.
So my best example would be Aphrodite. And if you don't know the word Aphrodite, I'll go for Venus. And everyone at the instant when I said Venus has got an idea of what Venus is. And that's the power of archetypes, because they, even if they're not in our culture, and for many of you, I'm sorry to say that they're not, because none of you is Greek that I know of. So you could say that this is cultural appropriation as well from the world. But yeah, so, but still, the archetype runs deep. It's like Little Red Riding Hood or Cinderella. These are archetypes that we can identify not with, but to kind of know what they are. And I think that's the immense power.
They're like metaphors. You can use them, and then you don't have to say 1,000 words to go with them. You just know people. You know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Well, and I can jump in on that just to self-promote here for a minute. That's what I have as far as my my deck. I have the archetypes, and I think we all know what a princess is, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you get an idea of what the princess is as part of the queendom. How does the princess fit into the queendom? The inner sorceress, the knight. How do these guys fit into the queendom? You get an idea, and then like each one has their story for sure. And those are where we can identify and be aligned or unaligned with that story and see that playing out in our own lives. And I mean, ultimately, which I don't know why I can't find a queen card, but that's
we're gonna laugh.
I don't know where the queen card is. You know, maybe I need to have another look at my deck. No, you know, the queen. This is what the whole thing is based around. Is, you know, you're the queen of your queendom, and all these are supporting roles.
Can I claim the sexist card? You need to make a male version, otherwise I'm going to feel offended.
There's the knight. There's the knight.
King of my kingdom deck.
I think it's so important.
No. Sorry,
I think it's so important
that we have that you make a deck like this, not her. Man needs to make, and there is one in Deckible. There's a guy who's made a masculine energy deck, which is I love. It's beautiful.
Isaac is wonderful. I love the guy. He's such a great spirit.
Sorry, Victoria, I cut you. I don't know what you wanted to say, but I was like, no, we're not going to be making decks for men here. Go and make your own decks.
No, but I think it's important to have the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine. There needs to be that equality across the films, because it's beautiful seeing so many divine feminine decks. But I feel if there's not some more male decks coming out, there'll be a very major imbalance. So I think it's beautiful that
there is a point in value in everyone being able to, guys being able to draw value from the feminine, and women to be able to say, well, screw that, I'm going to be what's classically masculine. People understand that alpha male, you know, alpha woman is the thing, right?
It is a
There's
thing,
nothing wrong
definitely.
with these things, right?
And those are all
So
archetypes too.
Nick, I wanted. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll come in after you. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that in my deck it's hard to see, but this is King Louis V that came through, and he says, be the king of your domain, be the leader of your domain and spiritual path. As a visionary, you can unlock the mysteries of your sacred contract. And his mantra is, I am a visionary for my highest good and purpose. And he has an iolite crystal associated with him. So it was interesting when you talk about that, and he's, you know, in the deck, there is the masculine, which is the gold, and then the silver, which is the feminine. I identified the cards in that energy. So I see a deck being created by you.
Put that on your list. Add that to your deck.
I will
honestly,
absolutely help you with the artwork.
okay, but you know what the funny thing was? When I set off to create Deckible, I said to myself, I am not going to create decks. I'm going to sit on. There's a very thick line in the sand that I wasn't going to cross, which is I'm creating the platform. Artists create the decks, and I don't even really consider myself an artist, but I am. But like both sides. But yeah, that was my vision, was not to create decks, because I wanted to have that clear delineation of whose jobs. I'm not eating on both sides of the plate. This is like support that, but it's actually fun. I don't know. I have made a couple of decks just out of curiosity and passion, also from the leadership perspective. Just if you want someone to do it, I try and get other people to do something sometimes when they don't do it. Just stand up and make it yourself and be the leader, and then have other people follow, right? That's
the King Louis card. That's the King Louis card that she just read.
Exactly.
So I love that. But what I was going to say too, when we're talking about the psychology, this is, and the archetypes, this is what Carl Jung used from the, he used the tarot. He was a huge advocate of spiritual practices and esoterics, and he loved the archetypes, which then became the biggest personality tests that are out here today. I use our personality tests, which are all just archetypes, but hey kitty, but all of that, is the basis of psychology, because there's such a psychology in tarot and the oracle cards. And we have to remember that our first symbols that we saw as children, circle, square, triangle, all of those are represented as the soup. And so we know symbology so well, which is why people are so drawn to tarot and oracle without even the words, which is why we all have our preferences, right? Because we're looking at that symbology, like it's hieroglyphics, and there's psychology and all of that. And so there's just so much richness in cards. That's why I love this and had to be a part of this experience.
I'm so happy.
I'm
so happy you contacted me and you're here with us this year. I'm not waiting for another edition. Although, we have now, I've been kind of persuaded that there is going to be another edition, just in case anyone's wondering. I don't know when. It depends on so many factors, but I guarantee OTALOCO 2 is coming.
Yes.
Hopefully in 6 months, if I can survive that. If I survive this one, I'll promise. But, I just wanted to go back a little bit, because about the divine feminine, and somebody had a typo there. It says divine famine. So divine feminine oracle is by Megan Waterson, but the artwork is by Lisbeth Cheever Jessamine. And I think it's really interesting that there are so many decks that are created by one artist, and then we have decks that are created by somebody, and then there's artwork. And if you want to know more about this process, I think Claire Kantop's talk, which is just after this panel, so in an hour or so, is really, she's getting into the nitty-gritty of, I'm the artist, and I've got to work with somebody who has an idea in their head of what they want, but they're not the artist.
Yeah.
And how we can mix and match this. And I think it's really fascinating. And for having worked with Claire on one of my future decks, I can tell you that it takes a particular artist to be able to do that as well. Mm-hmm. And of course, Claire being who she is, and I'm guessing all artists are like that, after a while they start, just like Nick, to say, maybe I can do my own deck also. Also, we have a very interesting question, I think. So if that's all right with you, I would like to ask it. Cindy says, it seems like there is a very fine line between appropriation and appreciation. As someone who wants to be highly sensitive, aware, and supportive, it's important to Cindy. Can someone speak to that idea? So I can, but if somebody else can.
I just have a conversation around it, but I think there's everything in life is a pendulum, and it goes from one extreme to the other. And we've clearly had the pendulum so far over to one side. Yeah. There was, it was only white faces. If you get all these things that we've had too much of, And everything in life, there's all these different pendulums, and they keep self-correcting. And as soon as they hit the other side, oh, we went too far, and they come back, you know. And there's like, I feel with comedy, there's this thing where you can't say a joke about certain things because that's, you know, unless you are of the particular. And I like, is that right? Does that feel good to me? I don't think that is, but that's my. I'm just curious because I go to comedy and I love going to comedy, and I feel it limits art. Like we shouldn't be criticizing a comedian. If you don't like the comedian, you just go and see them. You know, you pick a comedian who you like, you pick an artist who you like. I don't know the answer to this, but I think we've gone a little crazily. We were underdone, and now we've probably gone in the process of going too far. But some people haven't left where they were yet, so you've got to, you know, it takes a long time
that's the other thing. That's what I wanted to
change
say.
Culture, right? Right.
Yeah, I was going for there is, you know, some of us have gone maybe too far, and then there's a bunch of people who haven't moved at all.
Yeah.
So it's like we're stuck with these people that seem very hard to convince that there is another possibility, that there is another color, that there is another gender, that there is another whatever. And
some of these people some of these people maybe even weren't in the debate yet.
Yeah.
So they haven't even consciously unmoved. They've just had their ears pulled, and they're in the dark or the shadows. They're not even looking, right?
Exactly.
And we can get frustrated because they seem to have not moved.
I agree. Now, as I was saying previously, for me, this conversation starts with the Greek gods because I'm Greek. So I give myself basically permission to appropriate the Greeks, right? Although my father was Swiss and I don't look like a Greek person. And in Greece, I get usually spoken to in German. Sorry, insulted in German as being a colonizer, German in Greece, right? So, okay, I know it's between white people and it's less dangerous for me, but still, it's weird, you know, that I consider myself Greek and then I'm not considered Greek. So I use the Greek goddesses in my work. And I feel very cool about that. Now, if you guys were to use the Greek goddesses, what? Should I say, no, this is cultural appropriation? But at the same time, they've been around in our symbolism, in our metaphors, in our almost collective unconscious. Somebody is echoing. Am I all right now? No, I'm still echoing. I think it's one of you who is echoing too much. So could you maybe mute yourselves just a minute? Okay, I think it's all right now. I don't know. I'm sorry. So yeah, what I was saying is these Greek gods and goddesses and the Romans and the Viking gods and all these have been in our collective unconscious for so many generations now that I consider, you know, they belong to anyone who appreciates them. And I do agree with Nick, who says in the comments that appreciation is more important than appropriation. If we can really respectfully appreciate other cultures and reference to them, because ignoring them completely, like, you know, oh, I will not appropriate, so I won't even talk about it, might even be a worse solution. You know, it's going to again to that end of the pendulum, which we don't want to. You know, I would love to be able, had I the knowledge, which I don't at this minute, to talk about the African gods or the, you know, and if I don't refer, sorry, my accent, my English is going into, I don't know where. But if I don't refer to them at all ever, just because they don't belong to me, then it's a form of denial as well, which really they don't need. I don't know if somebody wants to challenge me on that one. But I believe that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because, you know, for me, I'll tell you what, everything that I learned about goddesses and gods started with, like you said, Asaya, it all started with the Greeks and then the Romans, and then it got to the Egyptians. And so again, as a Black woman, a woman of color, I also had that colonized mind that anything that was African was scary, because that again is what we are taught. And so I had to cross the other side, you know, because we are really taught that. I mean, are you taught that there's love and light in African studies? No. When we see these masks and things, we think, oh, dark magic, black magic, because that's what we have been culturally, you know. And so I see it on both sides. Like everything that I did learn. I mean, I know I had a cat named Lakshmi. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I was looking for that energy of wanting to connect to a culture, right? Because because ours was, you know, colonized and appropriated. And so now that I've had years of studying African spirituality, I recognize that they're all the same story, going back again to the archetypes, but from different perspectives. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I recognize that, you know, the sun god, the you know, the earth goddess, they're the same. But because we have been taught differently, we believe differently. And so the appropriation or appreciation, the appreciation is just, you know, okay, I don't know, I'm going to learn something new. And wow, isn't this fascinating? It's just like when I had to learn about anything Greek or Indian or Viking, you know, I had to say, okay, I'm going to try this. I mean, I've got the ruins, I've got all the, but that's not me appropriating, that's me appreciating, because I didn't have access to my own tools. But now through my own study and making that choice, it has opened a road. And, you know, a lot of people are still afraid because of what we've been conditioned for generations to believe around different cultures, right? You know, like everyone, if you say do a Native American dance, many people know what that means. And everyone can do that Native American dance. Why? Because we've seen it. But there's more to it. We might just know the basic, you know, jumping up and down. And so there's just so much that we're learning about ourselves and each other. And I think that's what, again, this Congress, us all coming together, having these conversations is so important and potent at this time. Plus, you know, the millennial generation and these Gen Zers, they really are coming in as like these, you know, starseed children. And so they're seeing, you know, we want to leave them with the best knowledge and wisdom that they can have, not the limited views that the 50s and 60s and the 40s, you know, taught us and our parents. And so they're showing us and reminding us again that this is like the sun, that each of us and all of us are our own sun, and it doesn't matter where we come from or what color we are. So it's really as Cindy said, a thin line, but your intention is what's the most important. You know, your intention.
That's what I was going there too. I was going for the intention.
Yeah.
And if my intention is appreciation and honoring a culture that I maybe not fully understand, but that I admire and want to relate to in a way, of course it's not mine, but I will insist to my deathbed that we need to be interested in other people's cultures.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's exactly how we antagonize racism and shit, basically.
We're a global society now. We're
in the authentic,
we're
in the authenticity of everyone, of the other people. And you know, it's not by not even mentioning something that is not mine that I will honor it. It's by showing my curiosity and my beginner's maybe attitude, like, you know, I want to learn. There are books, there are people that I can learn from, but I'm not going to stay just ignorant and in the name of appropriation, I think. And again, you know, we've been talking about various subjects, and basically we end up with the same answer, which is the middle path. The Chinese had all understood everything. So balance between the feminine and the masculine, balance between appropriation and
Appreciate.
appreciation, balance between everything. I think it's so crucial to find the middle path. Again, the Chinese.
I love what you said, like the idea of polar opposites, and there are polar opposites, but we never actually often really sit at the polar opposite. That's just the description, and we're each somewhere on that scale, from ignorance to fully educated to curious to totally closed-minded, right? And appreciating that, or looking for the opposites and asking ourselves, where do we sit on the continuum, is healthy.
I think it is. Same thing with ADHD and autism, and basically there's a spectrum for so many things in life, and I don't know if I dare say that, but I think that part of the religious traditions, not spiritual, religious traditions, have pushed us to believe that there are polar opposites, the good and the evil, and black and white, and they have created these antagonisms instead of pushing the citizens of the world that we are now either already are or becoming, to consider everything like a spectrum and to check where we stand on that spectrum
Well,
how can I say, of being authentically us without stepping on anybody else's toes, basically.
But I think it is a hard, it is a hard line, because we do want to say things, and then we're checking ourselves right now. But I also wanted to say, what was it that I was going to say when you were talking about that I lost my train of thought, but
too many ideas.
It's so important to learn about things, especially here in the States. We are really being challenged. Oh, I know what I was going to say when you're talking about religion versus spiritualism. I think there's so much fear. It's based on fear, and so much of what's happening in general is fear-based. And this is where I feel like we're clashing so much because of fear. And if we can open up our minds and open up to learning more, and not to bring up one of the things, of course, here in the States that has come to light a lot, is the Native Americans. And one of the very popular TV series that's currently on really is highlighting some of the ways that we were horrible to Native Americans, and some of the religions that came in and just were like, no, we are going to teach you our ways, and we are going to, if we have to, really, I hate to say, but beat it into you. Like, literally, they were awful to people, and awful to not only the Native Americans, but the people that they brought from Africa. Like, they were horrible to these people. And just watching it play out in a TV series, it's awful to watch. It's awful to watch these things. And I think when you think that it happened 200 years ago, or it happened 300 years ago, it doesn't sink in. But when you see it play out in the movies or in the, on your television, it really hits home.
Yeah, education is, and visual education is amazing. That's also why I think decks are amazing, because they have this visual thing that and we were discussing Chris Ann's deck earlier on, and literally what you were saying, I think in the opening address, Tonya, about how can I not see myself? And it's literally see with the eyes. So if there is no one like me anywhere to be seen on a deck or on a TV show, and I believe that the visual importance of our world means that what we see or what we give to others to see is very, very important. Now, even more than the words that we write or that we pronounce, because it's such a visual world now. So at least that's my conviction.
And this is actually too why, as I shared, in our work is going to be so needed. Exactly what Laura was saying. Like, this is exactly why we are being called to do more and even go further against the grain, because we are going to be needed, and we are going to be the healers, the guides, the ones who can guide others towards the light, because we've been doing this work already. So that makes us all leaders. Just like that, again, that sun card. And when we recognize that our work is to support the transformation of humanity, that's what all of your decks are. That's what this conversation is. We're supporting the collective cosmic conscious shift that is the age of Aquarius. We cannot forget how this age of Aquarius is telling us to rise, to do this work. And this is why, even though sometimes it feels like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I need more. And so for us now to really just, again, be solid. And as a beloved Laura said, that we have our queendoms, our kingdoms that we must rule. And it's our time to see and recognize that our queendom and our kingdom are not only our prosperity, but our networks. And when we create bigger global networks of us that love and support each other and that are supporting the collective cosmic consciousness, that's how things will be able to change. And we think it's, again, what we're seeing out there looks scary, but look at what we're doing right now. Yeah. We know that there are troubles happening all over the world right now, but we are collectively creating something that's holding it. There is a cosmic, there, as Nick was saying, the pendulum. We know that there's some awful stuff going on, but look at us bringing the light. Look at us doing our work to raise the collective vibration by doing this, making these decks, again, we're trying to support that shifting of consciousness. So we are truly light workers, because this is not easy work, and it's not for the weak.
Nope, it is not.
I remember
I'm going to say this is not for the faint of heart.
No, Wayne Dyer said, spiritual teachers and leaders, you go through some shit to become and to claim that for yourself. This isn't, oh, I'm a spiritual teacher. Oh, okay, sweetie. That's what you think you're doing something. Go through the flames. And many of us are older, and wiser. And that is also a part of that lineage of the Hierophant. So thanks again for letting me riff. I'm going to save my voice and get ready for the predictions and prophecies. So, yeah.
I just wanted to say that, this sun card that I showed you guys, this is the one that I pulled for myself today. So this was the card for today. So yeah, indeed, we are the light workers. Yeah. I also wanted to read Shelley's comment. At some point, when we were talking about diversity, Shelley said, I love that Deckible is so inviting and wanting to have as many creators represented, not a gatekeeper of only the ones I deem good enough, like the big publishing model. So thank you, Nick, for being, and indeed, I love that, that this platform that you have created allows for that, for no gatekeeping, hopefully. And
we do have a smidgen of we do have some gatekeeping, because if not, bad things would happen, I think. And we do try and protect the quality, because I think if someone makes a deck and it looks like they spent 5 minutes doing it, and they use clip art or AI with no you can tell who, like, using AI is fine if you use it responsibly, with passion, think it through, design it, care about everything. But if you just went done, and you can tell, when someone has the deck like that, see, right? So, but I want to support artists. It's the hardest thing sometimes. They're a hard bunch to actually touch sometimes, because they've been mistreated by others, and they mistrust anyone, some people. And I walk in and go, hey, come and do this, and they're like, because of what they've experienced. I never for a moment think it's about me, but I know they've been through, situations of abuse financially through an agent, through a publisher, through whatever, right? It's horrible. But it's I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know. It's a rant. I could talk about that for an hour, but yeah. Stop me. Someone stop me. Help.
No, that's all right. I'm going to stop you. I think although it's interesting, but not, we can't have you talk for an hour. Not again. You've done that yesterday or the day before. Shelley is adding, okay, some amount of gatekeeping is important. Thanks for caring about quality. And hopefully also about legal stuff.
Yeah, totally. Well,
mentioning.
we have conversations like, how do we make sure that somebody doesn't slip in some deck that has, racial slurs, anti-Semitic, this, blah, 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 whatever, any group. And we're like, oh gosh, we kind of, at some point, we haven't had any of that to this point, but at some point we will probably have some of that and we'll have to deal with it. But yeah.
Well, I in a way I hope you do, because that means that Deckible will have grown to be so well known.
That's true.
That anyone
that was
want to infiltrate it.
That was the first thought that went into my head. When we become big enough, it'll happen. That's
But usually that's that does happen. So Tonya is going to have to go because she is coming back in an hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, an hour and a half with her predictions and prophecies for 2024 live. I'll be there too. So thank you, Tonya, for participating in this panel, and talk to you soon. You guys don't go anywhere. Before Tonya comes back, right? Thank you, Tonya. See you later. Now, the rest of the panelists, you can go also, but I'll be feeling very lonely. Please don't leave me. So yeah, no, I think what you were mentioning is about getting more. When we get bigger, we get the trolls.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm going to go completely off topic, but I don't care. And remind anyone who is a business owner that it's exactly the same thing. When we get bigger, we get the trolls. And I'm happy to report that in OTALOCO, we have had some trolls.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we have extended the domain of our friends and family because we have had some very nasty comments from people on YouTube when I was streaming on YouTube, and some actual trolling. So congratulations, everyone. In the immortal words of Denise Duffield Thomas, when you get the trolls, you get the success. Yeah. So bravo to all of us. And I do hope Deckible gets the trolls as well. But I do hope that by that time, you will have put a policy in place to, think of how you can face those.
That's a bit like that break the leg comment you say to someone who's on stage, right?
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. But it's also a way, for really for online business owners and even more for spiritual entrepreneurs. The minute you get somebody who hates you, it means that you've grown bigger. It's the same for artists, right? If you only show your work to your mommy, or my mom thinks I'm an amazing artist, actually. I think she is too, but she's a freaking painter. I'm not. But if I don't only show my art to my mom, she will admire it and say, congratulations. When we go bigger, we have to face criticism, whether it's justified or not.
Right. I love,
and that should not stop us.
It should. I
need to go.
Well, I was going to say one thing. Just on that topic, I love what Brené Brown says. She opens up her wallet or a purse and she pulls out this little postage stamp and she says, "I write the names of the people who I listen to on the postage stamp." I mean, not she listens probably, but those are the people she cares about who says what. Because everyone that's on this postage stamp is people who equally do the work, step into the arena, get bloody, get criticized, do the things, and they have the power to have a voice that she should listen to. The rest of the people, don't listen to, because if you do, you would eat up your soul. You would stop. People can be mean, and they're mean mostly by jealousy, because you actually did it. You made this, you did that, you created this art, you painted it, you have put on a show, you put on a YouTube, you put on an event, you know, bring it on.
Absolutely. And you know, really don't let anything stop you from creativity, and from being a card reader if you want to be one, from being a deck creator if you want to be one, whether you are an artist or whether you're not, whether you consider yourself a creator or not. I'm going to go back to my basics of we are all creators. We are all creative. That is kind of in the blueprint of human beings. We sometimes have forgot about that, but it's never true. Basically,
creativity is cathartic for everybody. If it isn't for you yet, it's because somehow it got beaten out of you and there's too much pain, and maybe that's your work to work through that. But creating is so fulfilling, so rewarding. You have to go so far on the journey to get to that point.
I have a plaque that hangs in my art studio that says creativity takes courage.
It does. I have a friend who's an artist, and she said she's seen so many artists who actually balk at the idea of telling everyone they're an artist. You know, and that to me is like so saddening.
Absolutely. If you want to know more about becoming an artist, kind of almost without deciding to, go and listen to my interview with Lois Warnock, which is like, I love that. You know, it's like, go and become an artist, says Spirit. Okay, then. It's like, I love that. You know, it's like, okay, I'll do what Spirit says. Yes, sir.
Actually, yeah, and that's all about choices, right? And one thing I love, the other part of that conversation was, I think years ago, I've been with my hubby for 20 years now, we were talking about retirement in over coffee, and he said, so what do you think you might want to do when you retire? And I said, this was before I was doing any art at all. And I said, oh, I don't know, I think I'll be an artist. And he went, perhaps you might want to start thinking about doing some art first. And that was way before I was told you're a psychic artist, right? So I just kind of laugh at the hints that Spirit came through, and you know, nudging, you know, that always nudging. So I did have a question. Somebody messaged me on Facebook. They've been watching the OTALOCO, and the question was, you know, and I thought I'd share this because it was just a simple question of, you know, how do the cards work, whether it's my deck or anybody else's? Do you pull one a day? What do you do with it? And you know, really, that's kind of like that whole art field being subjective. The card field is subjective. How do you want to use it? Tap in, ask yourself, you know, if I pull a card a day, just sit with it. One of the things that I teach is don't look at the card right away. Pull a card, hold it close to you, feel the energy of it, even just notice what, maybe if you're getting visions or information coming through, you know, even 30 seconds. And then look at it and go, oh, I did see red when I was, you know, or I did, this word is coming through. And just ask, I always ask my guides, instead of specific questions, I just say, what would you have me do today? Show me what you would have me do today. Tell me what you'd have me do today. One little thing towards my journey. So I just wanted to share that with her.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. You know, that there are so many ways that we can use cards, but I'm going to sum them up in one word: play.
Yeah, exactly.
Play. Give yourself permission to do whatever you want with them. You want to pull 10 cards at one time? You want to pull one card every day? You want to pull 20 cards every day? You want to shuffle 20 decks and pull one card from each? Go on Deckible. Go on Deckible. You can do that. You want to have readings, extensive readings for yourself, for your cat, do that. You want to do it for people and get some money of it, do that. But give yourself permission to play. These are just tools. The magic, as I said in my opening address, is in you. The card is just a conduit for your magic to be expressed in the world. And it has a magic of its own because the artist put it there and the creator, but still it's you who's the most magic. So play.
And the right deck can make a difference.
Definitely.
And we've heard that in the talks today. Like, people were like, I got this deck and it didn't speak to me. And if that was the only deck you had, that would have been the end of somebody's journey. So don't let the decks put you off. Keep looking at different decks until you go, ooh, that piques my curiosity, right? I love that.
And as from December 15th, I'm going to go for promotion, Nick. As from December 15th, you can trial test every deck for 3 days on Deckible.
You can.
Before buying them.
I did that. So, I did that with that moving my lips. It was really cool.
I think that's going to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Way too many opportunities go, oh, I need that one.
I love
Callie was saying that she decided to not buy anything else for Christmas. No presents for anyone. Saving my money for decks now.
True.
But yeah, really. And I'm guessing if we were to ask each of the speakers here, how do you play with decks for yourself now? We would have many different answers.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go around for very briefly, each of you. What do you do with cards every day or every week or whatever? So Lois shared her method of not watching the card, which I loved. Thank you. I didn't know this one. Anyone else wants to share?
So again, for me, I do pull a card most days. I decide which deck is going to talk to me the most. But I agree with Lois on, I do try and practice my seeing. So I use cards, put a card face the opposite way around, don't look at it, and then see if I can see exactly like what the number is, what the image is. And again, that's a really good way for me to practice my clairvoyance. And, you know, when you do get it absolutely 100% right, you do get very excited. So again, it's a really nice tool for developing without, you know, you can do it yourself and just check in on what, you know, start learning to trust yourself as well. So yeah, I love a card a day.
I think it's Laura Stasiunas in her talk. She talks about intuition as being a muscle that you have to train. So your suggestion to train it literally means that it will get
bigger,
more accurate, bigger, brighter, and more loud, sometimes deafening.
One thing as a kind of newbie, I still feel like a newbie or, you know, an outsider in this space somewhat. And I say that very sarcastic. It's very tongue in cheek, right? But I've hung out with so many spiritual folk, well, mostly all ladies actually, but, you know, spiritual people, and they use this word see, right? In a way, like when someone says see to me, I'm like literally going, okay, what is it? You know, like I'm literally expecting to see exactly as it's on screen here. And it's a word that I used to almost resent because I would have jealousy that someone else had something that I didn't. And then I realized I actually see things in the way that, you know, use that word very loosely, right? People can talk to me about something and I can see the product they should create. And it's a gift I have. It's a seeing, right?
It's a big one.
And I just think nothing of it because it's been with me all this time. And here I am in the grass is greener contest of life, looking at Lois talking about seeing these things, and the spirit popped up in the trees and there was angel this and talking to me like that. I'm like, oh my God, I wish, why can't I have that? And then I have it, but it's just different, right? So I think just this is we talked about spectrums before, like from 0 to wherever, and it's not a competitive sport, although human nature makes it so, and everything's competitive. So if you're starting off in this space, don't take the words everyone says quite so literally. Just be playful, and see what appears for you and find the meaning, and draw a card and then why did that card come? You will find a meaning. You can literally pick a card from the deck and find something in your life that you've done or should be doing that will connect with that.
Agreed.
Right.
I love the beginner, you know, the I'm a newbie thing.
Right.
Because that's exactly why I created OTALOCO.
Right.
Because I was made to feel like a newbie or like basically an incapable person with cards, and you know, I was made to feel that I could only be a student, and I had nothing to, or you know, I could only keep on learning forever. And that's exactly why I wanted OTALOCO to be different, so that anyone who is interested by this game of playing with the cards could come and talk or listen and participate in the general conversation, and be reminded that we all have it in a different way, and that it's a spectrum. We all have it also at a different degree, depending on how much we've exercised our muscles, right? So, but it can be in so many different areas. Like you were saying, Nick, I love this thing, this business thing. I'm going to jump on a call with you. You're going to tell me what I should do in my business next year.
You got it.
Don't tell me OTALOCO.
No, just say when. Just say when. I'm all there. I love it. You know what?
So yeah,
I love that because I spend my life thinking about my thing right in front of me. And I think, like, remember the idea of smoking other people's cigarettes and playing with other people's kids? and working with somebody else's idea. They're great because you can put them down and give them back. But it's fun. It's I personally find there's nothing more fun than riffing on someone else's business idea or problem, because it's free. I have no responsibility. Everything I say to them is up to them whether they do it or not. I can dump all these great ideas on them and I leave. And then
I love that.
And then I return to my reality of like, oh, I've got these 100 things to do to complete my plan and do this and this. Like, okay, great. Anyone else want to call? Because I'd love to go to Fantasyland and talk about someone else's problem for 10 minutes. It's actually,
sure, we'll sign up.
Yeah, I love it. It's fun. And honestly, if I say so myself, I'm pretty good at it because, but it's just funny because working with like cobbler's children. I remember my dad had an antique store and our house was full of everything that didn't sell in the antique store. And the cobbler's children piece is so true. Whatever you do, you never do that for yourself sometimes, right? Yeah. You'll go somewhere else and do things differently, but with other people. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just fun. I'm ranting, but I'll stop.
So does anyone else want to share their daily or weekly practice with the cards? And then I have a final question from one of the audience, and yeah, so go on now. Tell me, what do you do with the cards?
So for me, it's besides of pulling cards now and then and every day and maybe 2 days not, for me it's things coming through so much easier when I write things out, like literally use my hand to write it, because when I just need to speak about it, then it might happen that it's like a blank page in front of me. Like I can't say anything, I can't see anything, I can't hear anything, nothing. But when I then start to write it down, then suddenly it flows through. And I don't know. This is
the power of journaling, says Nick in the chat box, for those of you who don't see it. And I think it's really and you bring something on top of that, which is you and me, Pia. We are I think the only ones here who the English is not our first language. And also for me, most of the card decks that I own are in English. And so journaling, I do journal in English. Sometimes I do journal in French because my English is not good enough, or rather I get impatient. I want to write more, so I go back to French, which is faster. But the connecting with the cards through the language, it's helped by the writing. I agree. I love that.
Yeah, and
Victoria? Oh, sorry, Laura.
I tend to do a card a day, and I know we've spent a lot of time talking about the Christian Lightseers deck, and it is my favorite everyday deck, except when I'm doing lives. I love the Animal Spirit Spirit Animal Oracle deck, because I don't know, it's easy for me to.
Is that Colette Baron Reed?
That's, pardon me.
Is that Colette Baron Reed?
That's this one. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. I love the imagery. I love everything about that deck. It just so happens it's on my desk. But when I do,
you have decks on your desk, really?
and crystals everywhere. I don't know what happened. But when I do
the leprechauns invaded your house with crystals and decks. It's not me. It's not me.
When I do a reading for someone else, I like to use 3 different decks. So, I do like to mix them up, and I love. I just learned the other day that we can mix and match on Deckible, and I love that.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Me too. And yes, Nick is suggesting that maybe since you live in 2 locations, you have twice as many decks.
Twice as many decks, twice as many crystals, twice as many everything. Yeah.
I love that. Are there any decks that you do not have a double that kind of, because the 2 locations where you live are very different. So you have a very sea powered location in New Jersey, and the other one is more land, earthy tones. So I was wondering whether you have a mermaid deck that only stays in New Jersey, or
I do have.
Like
I have some, and I get confused. I get confused because I think I need to. Sometimes I think I have to take this one with me, and then I get to the other house and I go, oh, I didn't have to bring it because I do have it here. But the Spirit Oracle, the Spirit Animal Oracle deck goes with me. I did, thanks to Isaiah, get the small version of the Light Seers. So
the mini
version, so that can travel with me everywhere very easily. I thought I had, and I don't know the name of it. Do you remember the name of the deck we used in Scotland? That really traditional.
No, I don't remember. Yeah, no, I don't. I was going to ask you, as a matter of fact.
That one,
I don't remember. It's a Celtic deck. Very traditional Celtic deck, which at this minute
I use that one. I use that one when I do readings. I thought I brought it with me, but I thought I had. I guess I didn't, and I thought I had one here, but I know I have one at my studio because I have it when I do workshops, so I can grab it from my studio and keep one here. Even though I do like to use the same deck, there's a level of using the exact same deck and the energy. I think you guys might agree with that.
Yeah,
with my energy's in that one deck, and so
yeah, it's not the same. If you were to buy a brand new one, it needs some, I don't know, getting into it.
Yeah. So I do like that one. That is I still use that one for my top row of my readings, and then I mix in couple other decks for one. In fact, I don't stay with. I do tarot and oracle when I do readings. I'd mix them. So
completely and not following the rules, I see. Victoria, do you have a ritual with cards daily or weekly?
Actually, I use them at night time for clearing my mind. Last thing at night is like the prime spot for me, because if I've had any niggles, stresses during the day, or anything that just comes up, genuinely, it's like, okay, shuffle the cards. It's usually my quiet time, and then I can focus, allow my brain to sleep, because I'm the biggest insomniac out. It allows my brain just to switch off. And then when I get up in the morning, because I'm hustling and bustling around the house and doing different projects and then homeschooling, it's just like there's no time. It's first thing in the morning. So like nighttime is my pinpoint. But I'm very instinctual. It's like, okay, Spirit, lead me to the right deck. And I don't tend to pick cards by, like, I will shuffle the cards very lightly, but I'm not like one of these poker players with shuffling the cards. I can't make them jump. That is a skill that's beyond my approach. I always say I would be in Vegas if I could do that, but I can't do that. So literally, for me, the cards heat up. Like I can literally find the card anywhere in the deck because of like the energy heat signature it's producing for me. So I'm very much like Laura. I will do certain readings with Oracle and Tarot mixed up. And I love playing around in that energy field when you get the chance to. But for the majority of the time, I do jump decks, but obviously my elemental decks, they all have a certain energy signature that I just go back to time and time again.
I love that, the nighttime thing. So I'm going to share a little ritual that I have, which is, so I pull cards at my desk, basically, in the morning when I have time, sometimes in the evening. But there's one deck of cards that is sitting on my nightstand. Sorry, not my nightstand, the nightstand that is on the other side of my bed. So every morning, one of the first things I do is I make my bed. I've been doing that for years. It's an obsession with me to have it feels clean and neat. And I feel that I'm not completely out of control with my life, that I can make my bed, whatever the amount of work or crazy things happening, I make my bed. So in the process of making my bed, I go around the bed, right? And when I go to the other corner of the other side of my bed, there's a nightstand there, which is actually a little altar. And there is a deck that I pull every morning religiously. So I'm half awake. I'm not even dressed at that point. And it's Joanna Hunter's Light Web deck. So it's a very tiny deck. It's a square thing like this. And it's only positive messages from the Light Web. So the Light Web is a magic place where you guys can access if you meet Joanna and travel with her. And it's pure light. So there's no images, there's just a couple of words or a little sentence, and the cards are very white and gold. So literally very, you have to make your own meaning. It's like turning on a light bulb in my house. So every time I turn this thing, I have this little deck. And then the day can start, And yes, habit stacking. Doing the bed and the card is the same thing. Of course, that only happens when I'm at home, because I'm here in Greece and I'm not carrying my big bed or the little deck, because there are too many decks, as we were saying. But rules are made to be broken. Nonetheless, when I'm at home, this is one of the things that makes me feel like the light is walking, like I'm walking under the light, let's put it this way, even whatever the circumstances. And it's been one of those habits that, sometimes I don't take the time to do a real reading for myself, but this little card every day is like opening a window of light in my heart, in my soul, and I love it. So, which is one of the reasons I'm very grateful to Joanna for making this deck. Voila. Sorry, getting emotional here. We have a final question if we have time to answer it. But we have less than 11 minutes, guys, because then we need to leave some room for Claire and her amazing talk about essence and energy. So the question is, does any of you want to share a most memorable card reading, whether for yourself or for somebody else?
I did one very early on for someone here in Michigan. Now, if you guys don't know, we're in the Midwest, very still somewhat Bible belt. So even the fact that feel like I'm putting myself out there doing readings, and the person came to my studio. She actually had come to one of my workshops, a crystal workshop. So clearly she had an interest in the woo, in the spiritual.
Yeah.
And she was just about to open a restaurant. She had bought a restaurant that was already existing and was redoing it and opening it. And we had a reading for her and seemed to resonate very well with her. I just saw her a few months ago in her restaurant. We were eating dinner in her restaurant, and she came over and said that she really still remembers that reading and that it really was really great for her. So I really appreciate that, that, even a couple of years later that she is giving me that type of feedback, and I love that. So definitely that's a standout for
memorable one. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. You know, when people are really impressed, and anyone else has a memorable one. Maybe it doesn't have to be a successful one.
Well, and actually, sorry, let me just hijack this for another minute. I did have another one. Speaking of not successful, I thought it went great. I did my normal thing. She, you know, and I'm, do you have any questions? Da 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 da. I prefaced it by saying, I did at some point tell her, like, sometimes you won't get the message right now. It might come later, da da da, whatever. She left. She seemed happy enough. And then I followed up. She was someone that I only knew on Instagram, believe it or not. But we ran into each other physically in New Jersey. And I was like, I know you from Instagram. And she's like, I know you from Instagram. So then and that was right at the time when I was promoting some things that I was doing. And she's like, what are you doing anyway? And so she's like, oh, she came to my house. She came to my house for a reading. I thought everything was good. I followed up with her on an Instagram, on a message, and said, how's it going? Do you have any questions? Whatever. She came back and said that basically it didn't resonate with her. And that I had asked her if she wanted to take a picture of the cards. She didn't take a picture of the cards, but I think she might have written down what some of them were. And she said she had to go to somebody else to get like the real messages that were in the cards. And I'm like, okay, that person, and here's where I think we potentially would all agree that if you did not take a picture of the cards, this person, whoever you went to, did not see the images, did not get the messages that I got that day. So I don't know. I think this is a little bit of a lesson, and I still stand by that reading. I mean, today I still stand by my reading. And, you know, the fact that whatever she was looking for, and I know I hit the nail on the head on some of the things, because she told me that, oh, well, my family member, my whatever, yes, is having this, thing going on. So I don't know what went on. I feel like that could have really been like a pull the rug out from under me kind of thing, and been like, nope, we're done.
What I find interesting is that she didn't come back to you. She waited for you to follow up, and then she told you that this made no sense, which is like, okay, weird.
And not once during the time of finishing the reading, walking down the stairs, walking her to the door, bye, her paying me, like the whole thing, like not a word of.
Thank you.
Did the person, she took she basically saying she gave the same cards to someone else and they interpret the same cards? That's crazy.
Weird.
Without seeing them, though, without visually seeing them.
I just think, wouldn't you go, if you went to I would just go and get another reading from someone else with a clean reading
with different cards.
Yeah, like someone else, like, oh, my car's broken. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, someone else's car. Just look at it. It seems such a strange thing. Yeah. Fascinating.
So she literally would have had to say like, oh, it was the 7 of Wands, or it was the whatever of,
What I really want to emphasize here, because we're talking to the attendees and some of them are still considering becoming readers, etc. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in the good way. So the person that will write to you enthusiastically saying you changed their lives and this reading has been amazing, and they, and it's crazy and nobody's ever been that good for them. And then the person who says your readings are bullcrap, I don't want to hear anything from you ever again. Both will happen.
Sure.
And what my message would be, and I think if that's all right with you, unless somebody has something very important to say, I would like to end with that. None of those are true. You are not a genius and you are not a crap reader. You are a conduit for some energy. Some people are ready to receive it, some people are not. That's what happens, but don't let that stop you. Don't make it about yourself. So if somebody says you're the absolute genius, good. It means your energy and their energy connects. Hopefully you'll get a client for life. Great. If somebody says you're a crap reader, again, don't take it personally. It's not your client. They will find somebody else if they need another reading. Don't make it mean anything about your ability, about your talent, about your intuition. Just go on and do whatever you want to do, and you will find your clients, you will find your aligned energy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that a good message for ending this panel?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I see the bobbing heads, so I'm thinking you guys are agreeing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing these couple of hours with me, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and gentle Nick, as I say. And yeah, OTALOCO is not finished. We have another 3 hours of craziness going on. If any of the speakers want to join me and Chris live, you can, because why not? So if you're still here in 3 hours or so, you can join us. The attendees, we hope that you will join us for Claire's talk in just 5 minutes, for Tonya Melendez's predictions and prophecies for 2024 coming live. The scoop of that, she said, nothing, nowhere. We are having the whole scoop of it. And then Chris and myself are going to remind you of when do we need cards and maybe pull a few cards of our own. We'll see. We have no plan, so beware. Be how do you say that? Be aware that, you know, it's my turn, crazy. It's the end. I'm happy it's finishing, and we're gonna get let loose. Thank you very, very much for any attendee, whether you're watching this on live or on the replay. If you are still not an attendee, please, 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 you have 7 days worth of free replays. Come and play with us. And we'll be still here answering your questions, etc., in the chat boxes of the talks, even if the talks are not live anymore. So for 7 days, we'll still be here, and we'll be offering you the amazing opportunity to upgrade as well and get 1 year of free replays and 17 incredible bonuses. Hope to talk to you soon. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, see you soon. Bye, and thank you again, speakers.